Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and today we will learn how to manipulate our player input and color code all the letters so that the graphics, which we'll work on in the next episode, will be very easy to create. So if I just enter my answer, which is I'm going to use hello right now, then it gets color coded evenly. So gray, green, gray, gray, gray. Like in the actual Wordle game. So, without further ado, let's get started. Start where we left off from the last episode, and I'm just going to call this project Wordle for now. Okay? And as you see here, I'm just going to show the word bank and the target word. So, in the last video, we figured out how to generate a random word. So we get twice, ghost, wary, and other random words. What we can now do is focus on player input. So, in this episode, let's try and at least make the player be able to at least input one word. So, I'm just going to ask, what's your name for now? And then, I'm just going to turn this to enter guess. Oh god. Enter guess. Okay, I'm just going to enter. Okay. So, when green flag clicked, it will be enter. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is making a new custom block called check player input. Okay. And then I'm going to make a new variable called player input for all sprites. So I'm going to set player input to the answer. Okay. Now let's start coding our check player input block. What I'm going to do is make a list called separated word. Okay? Now, I'm going to make another custom block called separate word. Run those screen refresh. Okay? So let's just separate the word into our new list. I'm going to reuse the variable I. I'm going to set I to 1. Now repeat until I is greater than the length of player input. Okay? Now I'm going to add, first of all, I'm going to delete all of separated word, and then I'm going to add letter I of player input. Okay? And player input, let me just turn this into hello. Okay, and then letter I of player input. So if I run this now, then it works once. And then I just need to change, first of all, turn delete all here. And then I need to change I by 1. So if I run this right now, hello gets separated. Now, we also need to separate our target word. And we're doing this letter by letter because we need to be able to color code all the different letters when we get into the visuals. So to make this a lot simpler, I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to rename this list to separated player input. And then make another list called separated separated target word. Okay? Separated player and then separated target word. Delete all of separated player input for now. Okay. Now I'm just going to make a numeric input called list type. Okay? So if list type is equal to 2, then I'm going to separate the player input. But if list type is equal to 1, then I'm going to separate the target word. Okay? And then I'm going to delete all of separated target word and then delete all of separated that. So if I just run this right now, then nothing should happen. Great. Only I should be set to 1. So now if I separate word with list type 1, then the target word will be wary. And if I do 2, that's going to be hello, because that's my player input. It is very efficient to make multiple uses for a single function or custom block. And I can just turn this into an if-else statement. Alright? So after I set the target word that I'm going to separate the target word. Okay? And then before we start, I'm going to delete all of separated target player input and separated target word. Let me start the game. So I'm going to do that in generate word bank. Okay, so if I just run this right now, then that will be separated. Okay, now what we need to do is check the player input. Okay, so in check player input, I'm going to separate list 2. So if I just run this, then if I type in hello, then, oh, first of all, I need to check player input. Okay, let me just restart. Okay, enter. I'm going to type in hello, and then get separated. But I need to make sure that the player enters a word that is 5 letters long. So to make sure the word is 5 letters long, then I can make a new custom block called check input length. Actually, I'm going to turn this into compute user input. Okay, run without screen refresh. Actually, not run without screen refresh. Okay, so I'm going to move all of this into compute user input. So after this happens, so after I ask for the player input, then I'm going to use an if statement. And the condition will be if player input is not equal to 5, because the player input right now is so this is going to be, so the length of player input is equal to 5, which is going to be true, but we need a not. So if it's not equal to 5, then I'm just going to check player input once again. I mean, compute user input once again. So this is called recursion because this function is calling itself. And it will keep calling itself until this statement is false. Okay, and then I'm just going to check player input after that. Okay, so let's just test this out. And it is not working. And that is because we never computed user input in the first place. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, now let me just type in hi, which is not more than 5 inputs, more than 5 letters. If I type in hello, which is more than 5 letters, which is 5 letters, then it will break from the recursion loop and it will separate list 2. Okay? Now I'm going to actually check if the 2 lists are similar. I'm going for this, I'm going to make a new list called color type for all sprites. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is have a repeat until loop, and then I'm going to set I to 1 right now, and then repeat until I is greater than 5. Okay? Or, actually, no. Repeat until I is greater than 5. So if is equal to, if item I of separated player input is equal to item I of separated target word, then add green to color type. If else, add gray to color type. And you may be wondering about where yellow will be, but we will do that right after we test this out. So let's test. Oh, before we test this out, I'm going to change I by 1. Okay, now let's test this out. Let me just enter the target word, which is hello right now. It's green, green, and green. Okay, now let me enter something different. Right now it's medic, so I'm going to enter wary. Now it is gray, gray, and gray. But we forgot to delete all of color type. So let's delete all of color type in our generate word bank. Okay, so let's test this out right now. Right now it's hello, so I'm going to enter wary. And see, it works. It's gray because the first 2 don't match. It's green because the second one matches, but the rest don't match. Now let's just test. Now let's add in the yellow. And the yellow represents this word, this letter is in the target word, but it's not in the correct position. So what we can do is if separated target word contains item I of separated input, then add yellow to color type. So if target word contains item I of separated player input. Okay? So I'm just going to add this right here, and then an if else add gray. Now let's test this out once again. So I have wary right now. So let me add hello. Okay. And this did not, this worked. So let me just add, right now it's wary. So I'm going to add eerie. But I can't add eerie because it's not 5 letters. So for testing purposes, I'm just going to add E A A A A because it's 5 letters. So let's just test this out. Yes, I got yellow, yellow, green, yellow, yellow. This means that E doesn't work, but it's inside of target word. And A doesn't work, but it's inside target word. But then it's green here. And then yellow, yellow. Because A's are inside of target word. Okay, so this episode was basically to make in the backbone of Wordle. Because we need to color code everything, and we also need to make sure everything is correct and make sure all the conditions are met. Okay? And it looks like we forgot to delete all. Okay? And just to make a simple bug fix very quickly, I'm going to delete all of color type right here. Okay? So let's just fix this. Let's see if this works. Yes, it works. Okay. So now I think you guys understand what I'm trying to do now. So if I type in wary, which is the target word, then everything is green. And then I'll color everything green when we get to the visuals. So that's it for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.